There are the sports supplements and there are the disease-related supplements. Like if we want to give the sports supplements, then it depends on the duration of the sport, type of the sport, and dose of the disease supplement depends on the severity of disease. So just I'm creating a situation like a type 1 diabetic patient want to do a gymnastic. So how to handle the issues? Like we, in this case, we need the disease related supplement as well as the sports supplement. Then how to handle these kind of situation?
So Smithal would like to take care. Um,
Basically, in terms of sports, we do come across cases where there are certain medical conditions that also need to be taken care of. So, if this athlete is currently having symptoms related to the medical condition, then we make sure that the nutraceuticals or dietary supplements which will help to improve the medical condition are given first, because when a person is exhibiting certain symptoms, most probably this athlete would not be into the competitive phase or maybe taking a break from competitions, and training may be slightly less intense. So we do take care of the medical condition first, as I told about the phase-wise division of how you need to phase out the supplements. You cannot give all the supplements at once. So in this case, first we would be taking care of the medical condition, and once the athlete is better or the medical conditions or the symptoms have subsided, then it goes on to the sports requirements of the client. So first medical or the health comes first and then the sport. I hope I've answered your question.
yeah.
So, ma'am, there are two types of supplements. One is for the kidney disease and one is for the thyroid patients. So, I want to ask whether there is any scope of probiotics to be added in those supplements in the future, because now we do not have any supplements which have probiotics which are fitted for renal patients.
Yeah, it's a good question. So when it comes to a patient, anyway, no patient comes to us with one single problem. There's multiple problems. So on one hand, as a renal patient, he may require a fluid restriction. On the other hand, we need to give a diabetic disease-specific formula also, where I need to make a... So even in the fluid restriction, as Dr. Mistal was telling, what is the priority? So in case I want to treat the renal, then I go for a fluid-restricted formula, which also has a less of carbohydrate. I will be able to handle his blood sugars also. So this is how we choose. Coming to the next interesting question on probiotics, there are a lot of literature which is coming headed initially reported by Ranganathan et al. Way back in 2012 itself. Probiotics is really playing a major role in reducing the uremic toxins in a renal failure patient, depending on the stage of the kidney disease. So whether on dialysis, not on dialysis, stage 1, 2, things like that. So there are multiple probiotic formulations available, which is useful. And in our institution also, one of my PhD candidate has completed working on developing a probiotic supplement, where we had found that the uremic toxins are significantly reduced. So there is a major role in probiotics, but not into the scientific formulas that we were discussing about. It is a separate one that we have been. Probably you can come up with a research where you introduce, as Mr. Pawan was also mentioning, a lot of nutraceuticals where we can include these probiotics and see their clinical benefits. It's possible.
So,
Good morning, everyone. I have
yeah,
a question.
this would be the last question.
Yeah.
We are running short of time, but if you would like to interact with the panelists, you could do during the tea break. Thank you.
First of all, thank you for the wonderful presentations. My question is like nowadays there's a lot of emphasis on protein supplements. Like it is said that in a vegetarian diet and vegan diet, they don't provide sufficient protein. So we should take protein powders as supplements. So how far it is correct? Can we take it without consultation, like on a regular basis?
As far as vegan diet is considered or vegetarian diet is considered, if the person takes in adequate amounts of dals, beans, pulses, sprouts, soya, these are all sources. Dairy is a source of protein for vegetarians. So basically, if this is taken into adequate, adequate amounts in the daily diet throughout the day, if it is divided and taken, a vegetarian person also can meet up their protein requirements. However, if there is intense physical activity accompanied, and because of the muscle breakdown that happens during physical activity, such people may not be always able to meet up their protein requirements, and only in such cases are these supplements recommended, sports supplements or protein supplements. Also, if a person has very high appetite and is able to still eat more, in case of kids specifically, they can eat more because of the growing age or the rapid growth phase that they are into. They can eat more and they can meet up their protein requirements even if they are vegetarians. Self-prescription for protein supplements is not recommended because over a period of time, you will not keep a track of how long have you been taking these protein supplements, and it can start creating damage to your organs if there is too much of protein intake through the diet plus the supplement that is being taken. Okay, so self-prescription is not recommended, and for general activity or people who are sedentary or not very physically active, protein supplements as such may not be required if they are able to meet up their requirements through food, which is at least about 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per kg body weight per day. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Smithal. That's the words of wisdom. We can interact probably afterwards. I'm sorry that we are running out of time. Final words from Dr. Tan Meilan. Would you like to add something?
Yeah, Kavita, thank you. Well, I guess when we talk about functional food dietary supplementation and all that, I think the healthcare professionals play very important roles in educating the public. And this is very important, especially if you are taking prescription drugs, as they may be, a risk of interactions. So my last recommendation or last suggestion is basically, I guess, if you are taking prescription medicine and all that, I think it's best to consult the healthcare professionals before taking any supplements. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you. I thank all the panelists for giving such wonderful insights, be it from the academia, from the clinics, from the practice side, and from the industry. This session wouldn't have been successful without your fantastic contributions. Thank you very much.
We would like to felicitate our distinguished speakers. I now invite Dr. Girija Mahale Ma'am, Head, Symbiosis Center for Emotional Well-Being, to felicitate Dr. A.J. Hema Malini Ma'am. I now invite Dr. Srujana, Assistant Professor, Department of Nutrition and Dietetics, to felicitate Ms. Medal Furtado. And I now invite Dr. Aarti, Assistant Professor, Department of Nutrition and Dietetics, to felicitate Dr. Pavan K. Singh sir. I also thank Dr. Tan Mei Lan for joining with us online. Thank you.
We request students sitting on the right-hand side to move towards the left-hand side so that we have space for delegates. And there are certain announcements. Please note on both the days of the campus contact session, at the end of the academic session, photograph of SODL students shall be taken. All are instructed to mark their attendance by being present for this photograph. Track 2 at stairs for facing building number 2 near Simbi Eat. And day 2